not leave empty seats. Do not leave empty seats. Everybody move in. Do not leave empty seats. We need every seat in here. Thank you so much, Mr. Heathwood, and to your very, very talented choral and orchestral members. What a beautiful way to begin this holiday reading event. Welcome, everyone, to Nightingale Theater's holiday reading event. We're so happy to have such a full house here today. Welcome. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is, if you could scan that massive QR code up front, that will allow you to read along with us today as we go on this holiday journey together. And what a lovely way to start your Friday morning. Get to enjoy these lovely holiday readings from your classmates. And all of these students you see before you are members of the Nightingale Theater Company. If you're interested in doing things like this, please reach out to any of us, me, Mr. Dunbar, Mr. Schwab, and we can get you set up and ready to go. But we don't want to take any more time away from our lovely readers. So we're gonna start with our first reading. Our first reading is a classic about a cookie come to life. It is The Gingerbread Man. And you know, it's a little troubling, right? Like we say gingerbread man, not gingerbread woman. But I guess you could blame that on the pastryarchy, you know?
Woo! Yeah!
All right, anyway, without further ado, here is The Gingerbread Man.
Once upon a time, there was an old man, an old woman, and a little boy. One morning, the old woman made some gingerbread in the shape of a man. She added icing for his hair and clothes, and little blobs for dough for his eyes, nose, and eyes. When she put it in the oven to bake, she said to the little boy,
"You watch the gingerbread man while your grandfather and I go out to work in the garden."
So, the old man and the old woman went out and began to dig potatoes and left the little boy to tend to the oven. But he started to daydream and didn't watch it all the time. All of a sudden, he heard a noise, and he looked up, and the oven door popped open. And out of the oven jumped the gingerbread man and went rolling along end over end towards the open door of the house. The little boy ran to shut the door, but the gingerbread man was too quick for him and rolled through the door, down the steps, and out into the road long before the little boy could catch him. The little boy ran after him as fast as he could manage, crying out to his grandfather and grandmother, who heard the noise, and threw down their spades in the garden to give chase too. The gingerbread gingerbread man outran all three a long way and was soon out of sight, while they had to sit down all out of breath on a bank to rest. On went the gingerbread man, and by he came to two men digging a well who looked up from their work and called out,
"Where are you going, gingerbread man?"
he said,
I've outrun an old man, an old woman, and a little boy, and I can outrun you too!
"You can you? We'll see about that."
said they. And so they threw down their picks and ran after him, but couldn't catch up with him, and soon they had to sit down by the roadside to rest. On ran the gingerbread man, and by he came to two men digging a ditch.
"Where are you going, gingerbread man?"
He said,
I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, and two well diggers, and I can outrun you too!
"You can you? We'll see about that."
said they. And they too threw down their spades and ran after him. The gingerbread man soon outstripped them too, and seeing they could never catch him, gave up the chase and sat down to rest. On went the gingerbread man, and by he came to a bear. The bear said,
"Where are you going, gingerbread man?"
he said,
I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, two well diggers, and two ditch diggers, and I can outrun you too!
"You can you?"
growled the bear.
We'll see about that!
He trotted as fast as he could carry. He trotted as fast as his legs could carry him after the gingerbread man, who never stopped to look behind him. Before long, the bear was left so far behind that he saw he might as well have given up the hunt at the start, so he stretched himself out by the roadside to rest. On went the gingerbread man, and by he came to a wolf. The wolf said,
"Where are you going, gingerbread man?"
he said,
I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, two well diggers, two ditch diggers, and a bear, and I can outrun you too!
"You can you?"
snarled the wolf.
"We'll see about that."
So he set into a gallop after the gingerbread man, who went on and on so fast that the wolf too saw there was no hope of overtaking him, and he too lay down to rest. On went the gingerbread man, and by he came to a fox that lay quietly in the corner of a fence. The fox called out in a sharp voice, but without getting up,
"Where are you going, gingerbread man?"
he said,
I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, two well diggers, two ditch diggers, a bear, and a wolf, and I can outrun you too!
The fox said,
"I can't quite hear you, gingerbread man. Won't you come in?"
turning his head a little to one side. The gingerbread man stopped his race for the first time and went a little closer and called out in a very loud voice,
I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, two well diggers, two ditch diggers, a bear, and a wolf, and I can outrun you too!
"I still can't quite hear you. Won't you come a little closer?"
said the fox in a feeble voice, as he stretched out his neck towards the gingerbread man and put one paw behind his ear. The gingerbread man came up close and, leaning towards the fox, screamed out,
I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, two well diggers, two ditch diggers, a bear, and a wolf, and I can outrun you too!
"You can you?"
yelped the fox, and he snapped up the gingerbread man in his sharp teeth in a twinkling of an eye.
Thank you very, very much. And next on our program, we're actually getting into a few poems now, a series of poems that remind us of really what the holiday season is truly about. The first poem is actually a Hanukkah poem called Light the Festive Candles, and that's going to be read by Jaslyn Figlis. So Jaslyn, take it away.
Hello, I will be reading Light the Festive Candle. Light the first of 8 tonight, the farthest candle to the right. Light the first and second too, when tomorrow's day is through. Then light 3, and then light 4. Every dusk, one candle more, till all 8 burn bright and high, honoring a day gone by, When the temple was restored, rescued from the Syrian lord, and an 8-day feast proclaimed, the festival of lights well named. To celebrate the joyous day, when we regained our right to pray to our one God in our own way.
Thank you very much, Jasmine. Very well read. And we're going to follow that up with a second Hanukkah poem entitled Season of Skinny Candles.
Season of skinny candles. A row of tall skinny candles burns quickly into the night. Ere the shames rise over the rest for its hard work. Darkness rushes in after the sun sinks like a bright plug pole. Our eyes drown in night, thick as ink pudding, when over the moon stares to a silver of quicksilver. The little candles poke holes in the blackness, a time to eat fat and oil, a time to gamble for pennies and gamboil. Around the table, a light and easy holiday. No disasters, no repentance, just remember.
Abigail, can you get the lights from?
And enjoy. The miracle is really 8 days and nights without trouble.
All right, thank you very much, Jasmine. Very nice. And well done, Amelia, with lighting the candles. Impressive. Next on our program, we have a poem about Kwanzaa. This is the poem of unity, and it's going to be read by Bryson de Los Santos. Bryson, take it away.
Here we are on distant shores, searching for loved ones lost. Knowing their pain and suffering was an ocean of love lost. Can't you see the sun is shining, burning energies of love? Come, my people, unite together. We wake up, stand up, be the love for all. The bells are ringing. It is time to answer the call of one. Get together, my brothers, my sisters. It's time that you must unite as one. Unite, unite. It is time. You must unite as one. Hold together, brothers and sisters. It's time to unite as one.
Very nice, Bryson. Excellent. Our next poem, actually not a poem, but a response, a letter called Yes, Virginia, There is Santa Claus. Amelia will read both parts, both the inquiry from a young 8-year-old girl to the editor of the Washington Sun at the time. And New York Sun, sorry. Yes. So Amelia's going to take us through both parts of this letter, and what it's going to dig into is that question of, is there really a Santa Claus? And I think the answer will remind us of what's really important about the holidays. So follow along, listen along, and enjoy.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Dear editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says, if you see it in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? Virginia O. Hanlon. Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All men, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant, in his intellect as compared with the boundless world about him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. And you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there was no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment, except in sense and sight. the eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not to believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus, but even if you did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not, but there's no proof that they are not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders that are unseen and unseeable in the world. You tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes it noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world, which not the strongest man, nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived could tear apart. Only can push aside that curtain and view and picture. Is it all real? Church, editor of the New York Sun, 1897.
Well written. Very, very nice.
No.
Thank you so much. And the last of this kind of series here, in this section of kind of looking in the meaning of the holidays, we have a poem entitled Miracles. I think a lot of times when we get to the holiday season, we think about all of the miracles that are tied up in the different things that we celebrate. The candles that don't extinguish, how Santa Claus gets around the world. But sometimes it's hard to see that really there are miracles happening around us every day. And I think that's what I really like about this poem by Walt Whitman, is it helps us to see those miracles that are always around us. So Danica, take it away.
Thank you. Miracles by Walt Whitman. Why, who makes much of a miracle? As to me, I know of nothing else but miracles. Whether I walk the streets of Manhattan, or dart my sight over the roofs of houses towards the sky, or wade with naked feet along the beach, or just in the edge of the water, or stand under trees in the woods, or talk by day with anyone I love, or sleep in the bed at night with anyone I love, or sit at the table at dinner with the rest, or look at strangers opposite me riding in the car, or watch honeybees busy around the hive of a summer forenoon, or animals feeding in the fields, or birds, or the wonderfulness of insects in the air, or the wonderfulness of the sundown, or of stars shining so quiet and bright, or the exquisite, delicate, thin curve of the new moon in spring. These, with the rest, one and all, are to me miracles. The whole referring, yet each distant and in its place. To me, every hour of the light and dark is a miracle. Every cubic inch of space is a miracle. Every square yard of the surface of the earth is spread with the same. Every foot of the interior swarms with the same. To me, the sea is a continual miracle. The fishes that swim, the rocks, the motion of the waves, the ships with men in them. What stranger miracles are there?
Thank you so much, Sam. Every hour of light and dark is a miracle. I think that's beautiful. Moving ahead now, our next piece is going to be a holiday classic, a reading of a holiday classic. We'll bring back 4 of our members, or 5, 6 even. Look at this, a full cast here. 4, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Autumn, and I'm going to be the narrator. The Red-Nosed Reindeer. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Once upon a time, in a place we all know and love, lived a little reindeer. Now, this reindeer was named Rudolph, and he was very special. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose. This nose attracted attention from all over the North Pole. Elves, snowmen, penguins, and even the relatives of Mrs. Claus would flock to see it. The elves would all gasp at the sight, saying,
My, it's very shiny.
And
Very shiny indeed.
one day, a group of penguins were waddling past Santa's workshop. Santa looked up from his workbench as he heard the group of penguins saying,
And if you ever saw him,
said one,
you would even say it close.
said another,
Like a light bulb?
asked the last,
Like a light bulb.
replied the first two. Now, Rudolph did not particularly like all the immediate attention he was getting for his nose. Elves and snowmen would stare at him as he passed by. Worst of all the other reindeer laughed and called him names. Unfortunately, they never let poor Rudolph join in any of their reindeer games. Now, it is important to add that reindeers were and still are the most fun of any game in the entire world. Reindeer can play Monopoly, tag, freeze tag, toilet tag, bump tag, ball tag, soccer, and hide and seek, among others. Whenever Rudolph would come around with his shiny nose, all the reindeer would sigh and whisper,
Oh, great. Here comes Rudolph.
and
It looks even brighter and redder and uglier today.
then, when Rudolph asked if he could join in, the reindeer, usually Prancer or Vixen, would say,
Sorry, Rudolph. We're playing hide and seek again today, and with your nose, well, I just don't think that's possible.
Rudolph, of course, understood why he couldn't play hide and seek. His nose was far too bright to do any hiding or seeking. Before he left, however, he saw Blitzen with the Monopoly board and soccer ball. That's when he realized he was being lied to. He ran to his dear mother and sobbed, "Oh, Mother, they don't want to play with me. I'm no fun for them. I'm no fun for anyone. I wish I was never given this stupid, stupid red nose." Santa awoke from his regular nap and set to getting dressed in his official Christmas suit. Red pants, coat, hat, and black boots. He brushed out his white beard and, with the help of Mrs. Claus, combed down his white head of hair. Excited for the evening ahead, Santa stepped out into the Christmas Eve night. As he walked outside, he realized he couldn't see his sleigh. He couldn't see his reindeer. He couldn't see anything. He whistled to his reindeer.
On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, on Vixen, Comet and Cupid, and Donner and Blitzen, where are you?
Here we are, Santa, ready for a foggy night ahead.
They shouted together. As they tried to take off, however, none of the reindeer could see where they were going.
Oh dear, we will crash into houses at this point.
Shouted Santa. Then, Santa remembered the penguins' conversation about the little reindeer with the red nose. Santa called out,
Rudolph! Rudolph!
In the distance flickered a bright red light, brighter than anything you've ever seen. "Yes, Santa?" spoke Rudolph shyly. The elves, the snowmen, the penguins, Mrs. Claus's relatives, Mrs. Claus, and the reindeer gasped in delight. Santa smiled and said,
Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
Rudolph was placed at the head of the sleigh, filled with happiness. His nose was important. He was important. He began to laugh and grow even happier as the reindeer behind him began to cheer. They lifted up high into the sky, with the brightness and redness of Rudolph's nose guiding them on their way.
Ho, ho, ho!
Santa exclaimed. "Yippee!" cheered the reindeer. When they returned home after a great Christmas Eve of delivering presents, all the reindeer began to open their own presents given to them from Santa. And Rudolph's present was his very own Monopoly game. It was signed,
Love, Santa. And the reindeer.
He now knew that all those at the North Pole accepted him. Because of his beautiful nose, all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, "Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history."
Well done, everyone. It's always nice to hear that classic tale of, Santa's most inconsiderate reindeer, Rudolph. Anyway, moving on to our next piece here. We have a classic poem actually entitled A Visit from St. Nicholas, but more often known by its first line, and that is, "'Twas the night before Christmas." So that's going to be read here by Autumn and Jasmine. Take it away.
A visit from St. Nicholas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there. The children were nestled, all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama with her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window, I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up my sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a lust of midday to the objects below, when what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with the little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they claim, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away all, as leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they met with an obstacle, mount to the sky.
So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed in all fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry! His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying a finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew, like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Very, very well read. Thank you. Always nice to hear that classic. We've just a couple more things to review before we're done. The first is, I think, a nice reminder, sometimes seeing the holidays through the eyes of a young child can be kind of heartwarming and also kind of amusing. What we're going to do now is take a look at some real-life letters to Santa, as read by our Nightingale Theater members. Feel free to follow along. We actually have the letters themselves posted on the slides, and we'll go one at a time. So enjoy these letters to Santa.
You better bring my pony with you. Next one. Dear Santa, can I not get presents from you? I just would like a gift card so homeless can get food. I want gifts from you, but this year I want not only me to smile, I want someone else to smile. Like someone homeless. So please, all I want for Christmas is a smile. From Bryce.
Dear Santa, how are you?
Christmas. http://www.amazon.com/
Dear Santa, I don't think you're real. Every day by Christmas, my mom gets me presents. So I think you're a fairy tale, just to make kids happy. I will never believe you're real. I mean, it would take you forever to get to my house from the North Pole. Your magical sleigh isn't even real. To not so real Santa.
Dear Santa, even though I know the truth, I want you to know how much I enjoy believing in you for the past 19 and a half years. Love, the Nightingale.
Why is he?
Dear Santa, how are you? I'm good. Are you friends with God? How old are you? Are you okay? What do you want for Christmas? I would like sumo dino Legos, a Pokemon DS game, BB gun, Peace for all the world, and $25,000. Merry Christmas. See you at Christmas. Love, John, Mrs. Thompson's second grade class.
Cat, gato, cat. Cat, gato, kitty, mommy. Well, what language do you want me to say it in? Well, here are 10.
My revised Santa list for Christmas by Nightingale. 1. Black Ops Free. 2. PSA. 3. Hoverboard. 4. Golden watch. 5. 29 bullets. And 6. 3 golden chains.
Dear Santa, I want an order of French fries, a computer, and a chicken nugget. Dear Santa Claus, I'm so sorry of what I did all in the past. Thank you for the Christmas letter. I love it. But what I want for Christmas this year is $53 billion. Please write another letter this year. I love you. Your friend from Chris.
Dear Santa, how are you? Well, enough chit-chat. Let's get down to business. This year, I want a big space yellow Lego headset, some jelly beans, and a Clark Jake and hat.
Okay. Dear Santa, hi, it's Sophie. If you know, oh my god. If you know where my black leggings are, please write back and tell me. Love, Sophie.
Dear Santa, Santa, damn my hands. Some may not believe in you, but I do. One thing I really want for Christmas is, for my big brother to get a kidney transplant. Please. Darn.
Dear Santa, how are you? And the reindeer doing? I'm doing fine. I want a new football game and football because my little brother always tried to steal mine. He may look sweet, but he's the devil. I also want a remote controller. Love, Evan. Yes, how do you get in my house on Christmas?
So that concludes our letters to Santa. It's very important. What we're going to do now is, as you can see, we've been working hard on this tree up here, and now we're going to cross our fingers and hope it lights up. Hey. Very nice. And now for the final part of our program here today, and thank you so much for coming. We are going to just take a couple minutes to read out some holiday tweets that remind us sometimes during the holidays it's best just to sit back and laugh a little bit at life. So, holiday tweets.
On the 13th day of Christmas, my true love said to me, I think I might be a hoarder.
The 12 days of Christmas is completely unrealistic. There is no way that you're still accepting gifts from someone after 4 days of birds.
Dads on Christmas Day are just tech support in pajama pants, and I should know, I am one.
As a grown-up, I've learned that all the Christmas magic I felt as a kid was really a mom who loved me so damn much.
Just so we're clear, the Grinch never really hated Christmas. He hated people, which is actually fair.
Me wrapping the first gift.
Ooh, pretty paper. I just love this time of year.
La 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 la. Me wrapping the 27th gift. You people don't deserve those.
The Hanukkah miracle is that the menorah oil lasted 8 extra days. I recreate this miracle with every tube of toothpaste. I never understood how the little drummer boy's parents could just send him outside alone at night to play his drum, until my daughter brought a recorder home from school.
I hate when people ask me if I'm all ready for Christmas. No, Susan, I'm not even ready for today, okay?
It doesn't feel like I'm truly home for the holidays until It doesn't feel like I'm truly home for the holidays until I'm taking my parents' phone and said, "Here, let me show you," about 25 times.
Get your relatives speaking to one another again by sending a heartfelt Christmas card with a picture of your family with an extra child nobody knows.
Well, my phone stays on 1% for the 10 minutes. That's the Hanukkah candle burning for 8 days.
He's making a list. It's kept in plain text. And oh, just got fished. You know what is next. Santa Claus has leaked 2.2 billion users' names, addresses, naughty/nice statuses, and the times they are asleep in their homes. My mom just waited until the dog had walked out the room to tell me what she bought for Christmas.
Guess, 7-year-old, guess what a parent's favorite holiday is? Me. What? 7-year-old. Christmas. Because Santa takes care of everything and you just sit back and wing wax. Me. It's a huge relief, yes.
Exhibit A. Hiding the presents on my bed, but it looks like I'm hiding a festive dead body.
Dads only want one thing, and it's to immediately collect the torn wrapping paper for their giant trash bags on Christmas morning.
Here's a marriage tip. If you need a new can opener, just get a new can opener. Don't give one to your wife for Christmas.
My 7-year-old, clinging to his belief in Santa. You can't afford all those presents. I did the math. We've entered the time where I can't go into the kitchen to get something to eat without my wife yelling, "These are for Christmas!" So I guess I'll just starve for the next 3 days.
Me. Santa's quite old, you know. 4-year-old. How old is he? 26, 27, 4?
Okay, that'll close our lovely holiday tweets. Thank you so much. There are a couple more if you want to follow along in the slides. But I'd like to take a moment before we conclude and before we dismiss, which we'll do momentarily. Let's hear a couple songs while we go. Okay, it's 8:50, so let's play the music while we dismiss.
Thanks, people.
So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I hope you enjoyed this holiday reading. Have a safe, happy, lovely holiday season.